What is your forecast of inflows following this decision?
Thank you for having me. As per the announcement of MSCI, 2.6% of the total emerging market, that's around $41 billion US, and that's inclusive of both passive and active funds. We estimate the passive fund out of that to be around 25%, so around $10 billion US of a passive fund to be of a cash inflows next year.
And then what happens after that? Is there any, if you look at the timeline of the implementation, were there any surprises in it? Has it gone kind of as you were expecting it to?
Yes, indeed. The size of the Saudi market is not small, and taking it in two phases is the appropriate structure for implementation to just make sure the inflows of the passive money that transfers to Saudi next year to the market is adequately implemented. So we totally agree with that decision, and we believe it's going to help for better execution.
Mr. Hussan, while inflows to Saudi stocks by foreign investors have been evident this year, foreigners, of course, still account for a very little percentage of total ownership. Is there any prediction for an increase in ownership by foreigners? And if yes, by how much and when?
As you know, following FTSE inclusion last March, we have seen an increase in foreign participation in the Saudi market, and this basically represents the active side of the index. We expect the same for MSCI. Active fund will start to take some positions based on opportunities in the Saudi market between now and next May. So we forecast the ownership to increase in the next or until the end of year. We target to increase the 5% current ownership of foreign institution in the Saudi markets to 10 to 15% in the next 18 to 24 months.
Mr. Hussan, we're of course all waiting to hear about the Aramco IPO. Are you aware of any decision of the listing venue or the timing?
No, we'll wait. We're waiting for the decision to be made by the Aramco. But we would like to confirm the Saudi Stock Exchange readiness as we speak to support the success of this IPO, regardless of the timing and the structure Aramco choose to pursue.
If it's a dual listing, how much time does Tadawul need to prepare for that, given that you have very little experience of dual listings?
I think this is part of our readiness exercise. We have explored all options or scenarios or structures of cross listings. We have spoken to many jurisdictions over their experience, and we believe we are ready with all the necessary experience today to execute such listing. If Tadawul is the home exchange, it's not going to be very difficult to cross-list. Usually, the challenge will go to the second market rather than the home exchange.
Mr. Al Hussan, when do you expect Tadawul to IPO?
So we are on our progress to be ready for our file for IPO. We're taking into account all of the reforms that have been taken, as well as the coming reforms that Tadawul is undertaking to determine with our shareholders the appropriate time. So during the next or the second half of this year, we will announce what is the timeline for Tadawul IPO.